So my dude's Valkyrja, and today I'm going to answer the age-old question I see brought up in any video I make about Kazuha ever. Who's better, Sucrose or Kazuha? And now I'm going to answer this actually before the video even really begins. It depends. Depends on your team and what you want them for. Before I explain what each character does, I just want to briefly cover exactly what character is better in what situation. Kazuha is better for raw damage, for mono teams that are not relying on reactions whatsoever. If you want more reaction damage, guess who's better? Sucrose. Sucrose is way better for your reaction-based damage. Anything like vape, taser, etc. You probably want to use Sucrose, especially the fact that her normals can swirl, because those are anima as well, so she kind of beats out Kazuha in that. They have very similar levels of CC. Just Kazuha can do a little bit more on the buffing side because of stuff we'll go into in a second. So we'll go over Kazuha very briefly. If you missed my first Kazuha video, my video this morning on Kazuha, then I will briefly cover what he does. He does lots of CC, he can apply Viridescent and Near, and he converts Elemental Mastery into Elemental Damage % based on the element that he swirls. For example, my Kazuha with 1029 EM gives me around 42% elemental damage bonus. That's basically the extent of what he does. He also deals very good damage, but I'm not going to talk about all that. Talking about more in a supporting sense between him and Sucrose. Now, what does Sucrose do? Sucrose does almost the same thing, but instead of elemental damage %, she converts elemental mastery into elemental mastery for her teammates. Now, her C6 does let her buff elemental damage % for the element absorbed. But at the same time, she mostly is just for this. Elemental Mastery increased by 50. Elemental Mastery increased by 20% of Sucrose's Elemental Mastery. So she buffs the hell out of your reactionary damage. So, long story short, very, very long video for other channels is a very short video for me because I'm going to sum it up very simply for you guys. Big PP single damage. Big PP reaction damage. That's how it goes. A good example would be how I use Kazuha. I value Kazuha higher than Sucrose, as you can tell, because my Kazuha is built, my Sucrose isn't. Very simply because a very standard team I run all the time would be something like, if I were to take them off, Raiden, Yai, Miko, and Zhongli. 2 Electro ones, or even Raiden, Eula, Kazuha, Zhongli is a team you've seen me run tons of times. You have seen me run this team specifically in videos where I run double cryo with Kazuha and Zhongli and no reactionary damage, and you still see me do about 80 to 90k per ult with Aloy because that's how broken Kazuha is, especially in tandem with Shinha. Now, if I did like elemental reaction teams more, I would probably be using Sucrose more. It depends on how you play the game and how you want to use it. I don't think either one is better than the other. I think they both excel at very specific things. So, whenever you see people comparing Sucrose and Kazuha, just keep in mind how you want to play the game, what your main teams are, and focus that. If you want to focus on national teams and a lot of meta teams that utilize lots of reactionary damage, guess who's going to be better for you? It's probably not Kazuha, shockingly enough. It's probably Sucrose. If you have a team where you're running your favorite Hydro units all together, you want Child to really pop off, but you know, it's really hard to get Child to actually vape because he attacks so damn fast. Guess what? Kazuha is probably your best bet because he's going to be able to buff up your raw Hydro damage way more than Sucrose would be able to. The only main difference between the two other than that is that Sucrose has access to the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer, which gives you tons of attack, which could be very beneficial, especially if you don't have access to the 5-star weapon for Kazuha, Freedom Sworn. So Sucrose has more access to Thrilling Tales, and that's a very, very strong buffing weapon. But Kazuha also, in my opinion, I think Kazuha is a lot more fun to play, if that matters to anybody. I don't know if that matters in better conversation. I don't think it does. But Kazuha has double jump, and as stupid as it's going to sound whenever we're talking about this, but this is Genshin, so we should mention this. Kazuha is much better for exploration because it's just nice to be able to run up to a wall and just double jump off of it. Or, if you're running out of stamina climbing a cliff, if you're running low on stamina, and you sit here and you wait a second, you can let go, pop his double jump, and gain some distance without hardly burning any stamina. It's a very stupid thing to bring up, but this is Genshin, so it's very necessary to actually mention stuff like that because people might care. Anyways, those are the comparison between two characters, and the question as to who is better, it depends on your team, depends on what you're playing, depends on what you want to do, etc., etc., etc. It all depends on how you want to play your game. I don't think either one is better than the other. I think Sucrose has access to better weapons. I think Kazuha is a better buffer. I think Kazuha is better at exploration. I think Sucrose having 2 procs of this plus sacrificial if you run it, so 3 procs, is more better. It just depends on what you're doing in a situation and a team you're playing. Anyways, thank you guys all for watching as always. Hopefully this answers a lot of questions you guys had when comparing the two, because I always see people compare Sucrose and Kazuha, but not really giving a fair chance to either side and recognizing that each one's better in its own situations. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.